Srila Prabhupada, he told us, I have started a school to create Brahmins. This is a very, very interesting thing and is something we have to think about it carefully. Because on one side, we really want to become Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas, they are natural Brahmins, but they have something which is even more important than Brahmins. So what's the difference between a Vaishnava and a Brahmin? What are the Vedic rules in this regard? That is a subject. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, there is a book called Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. That book is very important. This is the book which tells us how and when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, on behalf of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, defeated those who had challenged Bhaktivinoda Thakur about initiating people into Brahmins who were not from Brahmin background. So from that historical background, this conflict arose. So, first of all, I want to offer my obeisance to all these Brahminical great stalwarts, spiritual teachers, who have actually founded this worldwide society of Krishna consciousness, which now is being spread around by many stalwart Brahmins and Vaishnavas of different missions in unity and diversity. So it is a very unique situation for the world, something unheard of, that Brahminical culture is actually going from Bharatavarsha to the world. There's many scriptural backings of that. It's not a scarcity of quotes, whether it's this Kiba Vipra, Kiba Nyasi Sudha Kedanaya, say Krishna Tattva Vita, say Guru Haya. This is one quote. And there's plenty of quotes which says a Brahmin cannot be a Brahmin by birth. But now, if we consider that Bharatavarsha, at some point in the history, Bharatavarsha was the very name of the planet Earth. It was not only India. Today we say Bharatvarsha is India, basically, no? And therefore the fact that the Sanskrit language is actually the foundation language of many, if not most, languages in the world, so it's very obvious. Stephen Knapp, he published one book about this, the roots of Vedic civilization around the world, and he brought about so many roots of simple words like stat. Stat means stan. So townships, all this. I mean, you can go into the most common language, in the most commonly used words around the world, and you will always find it is derived from Sanskrit. The most important words of life. So there's undeniable a very old Brahminical connection going on. And you find it, just see, in the Arwako Indians of South America, they have a status of Brahminical culture. They're called Mamus. In order to become a Mamu, they have to go to the Mamu school. In the Mamu school, they're vegetarian for 9 years, no touch it, there's not permitted to drink alcohol. They have to abstain from sexual relationship. There's no, only after they've gone through that, then they will be accepted as a Mamu. So we have schools out there in the mountains of South America with clearly Brahminical principles. And then you have them in India. And the whole thing, you have the difficult situations, the selfish, hedonistic way of life, which is propagated in the aftermath of the Aristotelian worldview, which has become the major imprint on life today, because we see that the people are so eager to enjoy that they don't think about what's coming after. I want to repeat this once more in a graphic way. Mother Earth, and we have a very nice circle. The circle represents the absolute in art. So, and the absolute means all-encompassing. That is God. Now, who are you? You're a little dot here inside of God. Huh? Okay. But we give it now, we say, you are, let's say, a 1%, 2%, 3%. Of course, if you really put the real numbers, you are much less. But I'm just giving it for graphic help. Now, now you, as you are one of those lovely fellows or lovely girls, most likely you want to find a partner, because that's what life is about. Either you make Krishna your partner, and then you're a sannyasi. So for a sannyasi, there ain't no other. It's just his life is perfect in Krishna. If he stays in Krishna, he will be fulfilled. He don't need anything else, etc. Now, what about marriage? Marriage, there's some other person there. Is another little dot. So now these two, they meet each other. First of all, they meet themselves in the center, because they can only meet themselves in Krishna, no? Krishna is the center. So only by Krishna can you meet somebody. You meet your guru by Krishna, you get your parents by Krishna. All the important things in life, they are by Krishna, no? They're not separately managed. Nobody has power to go over Krishna. So now these guys say, yeah, I like you. Let's work it out. Let's find out where we can start a family. Okay. So she moves here. Okay, now they're together. But they are still in Krishna, right? Now, they're in Krishna means actually their fulfillment, their completeness, their realization, their joy is in Krishna. Now, a hedonistic, selfish principle is that Krishna doesn't exist. They want to be by themselves happy. They see the rest of the world as like this. Their principle of life is like this. And they want to have the world under their feet, no? Now, not only that, probably they want the other person also be under their feet. Huh? Probably that's more the way how many people wish it to be, no? And like we say, popularly speaking, we say, oh, who has the pants on? No, in the relationship, no? So that's a popular statement. But then this person who's under there, he wants to get up and put the other one there and stand on them. And then it's a struggle. So it is totally separate from Krishna. This struggle for power inside of marriage, like having the whole world under your feet, means I do what I like. The world has to just supply me food, air, water, enjoyment. Like everybody, like this is selfish. This is really the wrong education, that we are not depending. Like in this concept, you can understand without God, you're nothing. Now here's the point: if these two are in Krishna, who is the leader of the two? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who is the leader, because whoever is the leader, it'll be in Krishna. If the woman leads in Krishna, good for the family. If the man leads in Krishna, good for the family. if both of them have a very nice partnership, they don't even want to lead each other, they want to serve each other. That's even more in Krishna, because Krishna, the 100%, is always serving us. We are living by His grace, we sustained by His grace, and we met our partner by His grace. So whatever little craziness we have of this struggle here, this is such a small fraction of life. Has nothing to do with your food, with your air, with your sustenance, with your love, with your health, with everything. Everything is depending on Krishna. Everything. So if you exclude Krishna from your life and you put the world under your feet, you're doomed. Your life is doomed. There's no way out. You cannot arrange it, because this little fragment is not Purna. It is not complete. It is not fulfilling. There's absolutely no question that you can make yourself with one woman or with two women or three women. Some people have a harem, but that doesn't mean it just, in a harem, that's a big mess, Each one wants to be on top of each other and always full of envy and everything, no? And jealousy and all that is pretty worthless. So here inside Krishna, everything is solved. It doesn't matter who, as long as Krishna and Guru is pleased, everything is solved. And that is a very healthy way of maintaining one's family and marriage. Now you don't forget, when there's children, then they're coming here on the side, the little, no, they're hanging on, no? and they hang on the tooth, so it becomes. Once you have a child, you have a blackberry. You know what's a blackberry? Who knows what's a blackberry? What's a blackberry? Oh, you mean a telephone. You think a telephone is a blackberry. Who knows what's a blackberry? You know. I tell you what's a blackberry. It's a... That's a blackberry. Huh? That's a blackberry. When they had the slaves, and the slaves were disobedient, they would run away, they would put a big metal ball, and they put it on his foot, so he could only move like this. So he couldn't run away anymore. So the one who invented the cell phones, he had a real bright idea, says, we're going to get everybody a BlackBerry. Because if you have a cell phone, you have a BlackBerry. Because now you can't run anymore. It rings even in the toilet, Wherever you go, now you have a BlackBerry. So in the beginning, the cell phones looked like the fancy, the rich people have them, no? Like, oh, I'm sophisticated, I got a very iPhone, Now, if you have a cell phone, it means you're a slave. Now the rich people don't have the cell phone anymore because it's too much when you can be called any time, And the bosses, they give cell phones to all their employees. Of course, sir, I can call you anytime, because I pay you, so you cannot go anywhere independent. Anyway, this was just a little addition. So if you have a child, each child is another BlackBerry. Because you can't run away from the children. They're yours. Even if you do run away, then it's even worse. Then they come back to you in your next life. If you give up a relationship with somebody who's under your shelter, if you abandon somebody under your shelter, that karma definitely comes back to you in the next lives. So it's a very hopeless proposal. Not very smart at all. So, therefore, I'm calling a child is also kind of a BlackBerry. It's also another thing on you. You can't get rid of it. Anyhow, this comes in Bharatavarsha. Now we're going back to the initial point. Bharatavarsha was reduced to India only, and around the world the people became more hedonistic and more hedonistic and all the things we have seen. But we don't go into that. Now Bharatavarsha is sending Brahmins to the world. And that is being, Srila Prabhupada always quoted this verse. Bharata Bhumile Hai Manusya Janmajar Janma Sataka Korikara Para Upakar. So Bharatavarsha is now training Brahmanas worldwide. Now, what is a Brahmana? What is a Brahmana, my friends? This is very incredible. It's not a title. It's not a white string around your neck. It's not even the Gayatri mantra. What is a Brahmana? The Brahmana is the one who kicks off the blackberry. The Brahmana is the free person. That's what Brahminical culture means. Freedom. Freedom of thought. Action. Worship. Let's see, what are the freedoms exercises a Brahmana? Freedom to interpret Veda. Freedom to execute yagya, tapa, and dana. These three Brahminical qualities should never be abandoned. Now, what else can do a Brahmana? A Brahmana is a counselor. A counselor even of kings. Kings, they should counsel with Brahmins. So, very, very important. And here we have our ex-slave. He became now a Brahmana. Blackberry was kicked out. Now he's free. He's free to do all this. He's free to protect the Dharma. And of course, he's free to surrender to his Ishtadev, becoming a Vaishnava. A Brahmana, he's free to become a disciple and later or a guru. Now, a Brahmana and the Guru Tattva, this is again another subject. There is Kula Guru Tattva. It's not very important. We don't pay much attention to it. There is the Bhagavata Parampara and there's a Pancharatrik Parampara. We can see Pancharatrik Parampara. And there's the Bhagavata Parampara. the Pancharatric Parampara is a so-so Parampara. It means those who follow, but may not have realized so much. And the Bhagavata Parampara is the highly realized Satguru. Both of them are necessary, both of them are accepted, but let's say the Pancharatric Parampara, he means follows, and he is realized. This is a kind of a popular description. Now, a Brahmana in his freedom of when he does the Yajnadana Tapa, when he does these things, when he's giving interpretation of the Vedas, when he's the number one of his above his head is the truth, the law, and love. These things are worshipped by him because that's the presentation of Krishna. So he can exercise all this freedom under truth, law, and love. Therefore, if a Brahmana is a liar, then he cannot be a Brahmana anymore. So it's a very, very important thing that we create free people. The school of Brahminical culture, which Srila Prabhupada has given to us, is just like here. Here we spoke about marriage, but now a Brahmana, he is just seeing himself as a fraction within the Lord's will. That's why I said, without marriage, it's no problem. You're just you and God. And of course, you, your guru, parampara, and God. But basically, but when you have to make like social dealings, marriage, social dealings, and a Brahmin, for example, amongst his duties, he is known to be a Kaviraj, a doctor. He can be. He can also be an astrologer, a Jyotish. But there's one thing very important here. Please take a note. And that's why we love Sankirtan so much. Srila Prabhupada gave us a chance to be Brahmanas, Sankirtan devotees. Very free, because there's one thing. It's not a qualification, it's a symptom. The Brahmana has no boss. That's the tough one. If I explain Krishna consciousness that way, Brahminical culture will be sued by the hedonistic society because they is threatening now the Bhagavad Gita to be socially unresting. When people follow the Gita, they have to follow the truth, they have to give up Dharma and surrender to Krishna. So this is all a little bit too much for a karmi brain to digest. So therefore, he has no boss. A Brahmana, he doesn't suit into a job. And that's pretty tough because what is the material world built up? It's a capitalistic society in a sense where a few people have the control of the money and they give the good jobs to the intelligent people. And the intelligent people, they're like the higher middle class in society. They're not the Sudras, they're not the workers. And in this way they get certain privileges, and if you're not in with them, well, you're out. So in every society, like we want to be in Bulgaria, we want to be in Sweden, we want to be in Germany. But how are we going to be in? Are you going to take a job? Are you going to work for the BND? For the CIA of German style? Are you going to work for them? You get a good salary there, or you can work for the like in many hospitals, I don't know what it's now. It's probably improving. But in many hospitals previously, there was no vegetarian diet for the patients. They went to hospital and they had to eat meat. There was no food otherwise. So if you're a doctor or you're a nurse and you work in a hospital, so you have to feed meat to the people. So many of the professions in the material world, they have some kind of uncomfortable zone where you prefer not to be there. That's why a Brahmana, he has no boss. His boss is the truth, the law, the love. That is his boss. And that's fine. That's good enough. But of course, it doesn't mean he doesn't have to help. He doesn't have to work hard. So this is yajna, tapa, and dana. This is what the Brahmanas do. They always encourage everybody in their spiritual life. The freedom of the Brahminical schools, no? This is of course, they're also, in general, teachers, Sanskritists. And Prabhupada created the greatest of the Brahminical cultures. He created the Sankirtan man. Sankirtan Seva. Sevite. The Sankirtan Sevite is like Paramatma. Paramatma is the perfect example of a Sankirtan Sevite. I told Govinda Vilas for years, let's do it his way. Right? I said, let's do it this way. Let's go out and let's go and preach and distribute all of our items. We have so many items. We can have items our restaurant. We can have items our retreats. We can have items our books. We have items of our CDs and so on, so on, so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. So this is a very good example. Paramatma Prabhu is giving a Sankirtan Sevite. Of course, it's a pretty hard job. And of course, if I'm living in one place and I'm developing from that, like if you look at me, I'm a Sankirtan Sevite. I went to Colombia. The movement was very small there. There were just a few devotees, a handful of devotees, and then everything spread out everywhere. Now there's yoga schools everywhere. There's devotees, even they have university chairs for teaching. We have a school of inbound yoga. Restaurants are also everywhere. And there's retreat places. So Brahmins, they can do a lot of things. Brahmins, they independently, they can do some. You see, there's one thing which I want to point out here. Brahmins in India, especially smarta Brahmins, they are very conditioned. They are not that elevated. All this, what I'm explaining here, it doesn't fit on them completely. Because their smarta Brahmin thinks, I can only do this kind of job, I cannot do anything else. But the Vaishnava Brahmin, he doesn't think like that. The Vaishnava Brahmins, they can do anything for Krishna. For Guru Seva. Careful with this. Careful, my dear. Some Vaishnava Brahmins of Western mold, means not that mature. They thought we can do anything for Krishna, even breaking laws. No? Not. So we better put here, in parentheses, within the law. This is especially because there's exceptions, you know. In Bhagavad Gita, there's exceptions. But this is not to be interpreted by immature people because it becomes a mess. But Vaishnava Brahmins, they don't mind to pick up garbage. They don't mind to do carpentry work. They don't mind to paint walls. They don't mind anything. Vaishnava Brahmins, they are capable of doing anything for Krishna, which is the need of the day. So going out on Sankirtan, this Sankirtan Seva, one time I will tell you how this started. Now we are in the Mitte, but on the eastern side, right? The wall was just there. So we are actually in East Berlin here previously. And right on the wall means all the memory. So 1972, I was living in Berlin and I had a car accident. I was in a car accident. And as part of this car accident, I forgot exactly. Some accident was there, and I couldn't go out on Sankirtan, heavy Sankirtan, carrying a heavy bag for some time. So at that time, I was living in Kurfürstendamm. That was our temple in West Berlin. And every day I would go to Checkpoint Charlie. The West Berliners and West Germans, they could get only a 24-hour visa to go to the East. Nobody could stay there. So I went every day, and I went to Bahnhof Friedrichstraße, which was in the East, after I crossed the border, and I went into the bathroom. And when I came out of the bathroom, I had my dhoti and kurta and tilak, everything. When I went in, I was going in pants and shirt, normal. So I came out of the bathroom as a Hare Krishna Bhakta. No books, nothing, only my japa. And my seva was chanting japa on Alexander Square. That was my seva. Of course, I didn't only chant Alexander Square. I went all the roads, in and out, in and around where the parks. And when the people in East Berlin, they saw me in this robes, they went like. And some of them came up and says, "Where are you from? Who are you? Which planet?" Huh? And then I start, yeah, I'm here. I'm doing some meditation here in East Berlin. Meditation? What is the meditation? And my server was just talking. Now I had to screen them. I had to see, is this guy a policeman, an investigator, or is that a potential bhakta? Is he a potential devotee? So after talking, if I decided he was okay, then I said, yes, and we have some meetings here also sometimes. We chant meditation mantras. You like to come? Where, when? I said, okay, give me your telephone. So I took their telephone number. Then I would go every day. I don't know how long I did that, maybe 3 months or something. Maybe longer, I can't remember. But it was so many times. So I went around, so I spoke to many people. And then the weekend came, Sunday, and we would have a Sunday feast in a park in East Berlin. In the morning, call all the people. Meeting will be today in this park. Meeting will be today in this park. We called all the people I had contacted during the week. And then some devotees sometimes came and brought some food or something. Yeah, because later we cooked in some people's houses in East Berlin, but in the beginning not. Sweet balls, we brought a bag of sweet balls or something. So then I went to the park, and here's 20, 30, 40, even 50 people we had in the park. And then kirtan, class, And they say, well, what is this? I mean, that was East Berlin. It was prohibited all, And it was somewhere in the park. And they said, you like it? You like it? Okay. We'll call you again. In this way, every Sunday was in a different park. Nobody knew where we were going to meet. And the people we called, they only found out that morning. What park are we going to meet today? So in this way, the Krishna consciousness started here in East Berlin. And it went all good, and we already had our first devotee. The first one got initiated by Prabhupada. I took the name over and I gave to temple president. He sent a letter to Prabhupada. We have the first devotee from East Berlin. Anyhow, this takes us a little further away from what I really want to tell this morning, but this is how the preaching started. I didn't even have any books. I couldn't bring over a book, because whenever you came in on a one-day visa, they searched you. What do you have, So there was no books there. Then the first smuggling of books started. That was a different story then, and also other things happened. Finally, Eka, the first Eastern devotee, was caught by the police. And when he was caught by the police, then other things happened. Anyhow, the movement kept spreading underground. Vilasini, the wife of Krishnananda, she comes from that preaching. Of course, a little later, I didn't meet her personally, but she came from that preaching going on in the East here. Ishavasya also came from that preaching in that time. So, but then my personal life went other sides. I went to Scandinavia, later to South America, so like that. But preaching is really something, you depend on Krishna. You meet people every day, everywhere, and you tell them about the beautiful gifts Srila Prabhupada has given to us. So therefore, the Sankirtan Sevite is a very, very, very fortunate representative. And because he goes on Sankirtan and he collects for whatever he wants to do, he has no boss. He's free. He can get up for Mangalartik in the morning, can come to class, can give a class himself, do anything. A Sankirtan Sevite is something so special, so fortunate. Now, come on. You want to open a restaurant? So, go on Sankirtan, collect the money and open your restaurant. Want to open a yoga school? Well, then you do that. You want to open a temple? Anything you want to do, by the grace of Sankirtan Sevite, you can do so. Maybe it takes half a year, maybe it takes a year, who cares? Sankirtan Sevite is perfect. Every day he's meeting 50, 100 people and inviting them to take part in Krishna consciousness, because it is unique. When you approach a person and say, hello, how are you? And they say, yeah, well, how are you and who are you? By the way, why are you dressed so strange? Do you belong to something or somewhere? I belong to you, my friend. What? You mean you belong to me? I never had a guy like you. You don't know that I belong to you because you're my brother. And I've come to give you a message from our Father. Hey, come on, I mean, it's a joke, Our Father, you don't even know my Father. Yes, I do know your Father. And I also know your mother, and she's my mother too, and my father too. I'm not talking about this seminal discharge fellow who was involved in bringing you here. I'm talking about your real father, the original Father, and Mother Nature. And I've come to give you a message which is good for you and good for me and good for the whole world. What do you mean? Well, do you think there's something to be done in this world, some improvements we need? Well, yeah, it looks quite messy, doesn't it? Right, and here's the answer. Go vetch. Here's your oki. Go vetch. That's the first message, brother. And if you follow that one, now, Have you ever eaten a vegetarian feast? No. Where? Well, Vegetarischer Club Berlin. We serve you a delicious feast every day. Invalidenstraße. And we have a Indian temple in the basement. Very mystical temple of their lordships, Gandharvika Govinda Sundaram. They're inviting you. Come and visit us and listen to a class as well. So therefore, one of the main activities is counselor and lecturer. A Brahmin is a lecturer, you know. You know, the lecturers in a university, they get paid a lot of money because they can lecture, they can give a class. I'm giving a class on Brahminical culture here. This is my class, this is my service. And I'm not getting paid for it. Because if I get paid for it, then I'm not a Brahmin. If you pay me to give you a lecture, and if you don't like what I say, you're going to say, no more money for you. Then I cannot speak the truth. I always have to say, you are so nice. You may be idiots, but you're so nice. Huh? So the material world is it's full of lies. The teachers in university, they cannot say the truth. No school, no university, no government department, no military man. To be an independent Brahmana without the boss has not so easily obtained, my dear. It's not easily, and it has a cost. A cost of being pioneer for Krishna. Being a pioneer. That's what it's all about. Pioneer of Krishna. If you're a pioneer of Krishna, you're always walking in the arms of Gauranga and Nityananda. They're always behind you. They're dancing Harinam Sankirtana, and you're just walking on top and you're doing the work. It's very special. So I'm talking to you. You guys are very important. Who knows? Akshara and Kajali, what the guy is going to do there? If he goes there as a real Brahmin, as a leader, and he's a qualified man too. He studied environmentalism and is an artist. It's powerful. What he can do, whether he will do it, it depends on him, because he has to do it. Because freedom doesn't mean you don't have to work. No? And I say more. A Brahmin Vaishnava, he works hard. There's two things Brahmins have to be very careful with. Dangers. And this is laziness and pride. And even worse is arrogance. My God, these three, they are the sand in the sweet rice. When you have that in there, it just doesn't work. So it's very good. But pride, you see, a Brahmin, he has no boss. What does it mean? It means he works hard and is the servant of everyone's happiness. That is a Brahmin, okay? It's not a Brahmin is not a useless fellow. Oh, he couldn't get a job. He couldn't become an administrator. He's not an engineer. He's not a doctor. He's not nothing. He's just a useless fellow, He tries to live off God or something, Like some people say, oh, religion is a good business, That's the people they say they're envious, because a real Brahmin, he may even get a lot of money donated. It's also possible. Or maybe he's a good businessman and he's making some money for Krishna at the same time. It's not prohibited. But he always has to remain yagya, tapa and dana. If he gets a lot, he does a lot. Whatever he has, whatever the equivalent is, he will do seva to others. He will help others. That is his qualification. And he is austere. Tapa means he's austere. So he's not interested in lavish living or anything like that. Therefore, the Brahmins, traditionally, they lived in huts. Right? You see Indian culture? So beautiful. Clean huts. Oh, very perfect huts. Straw roofs. Thick straw roofs. Bamboos. Everything neat and clean. The floor all covered with cow dung. And the utensils of the puja, is everything kept very perfectly. A Brahmin, very, very baka. Now you can see there's one Brahminical school. It's in Mayapur, in ISKCON. You can see a Brahminical school of one Swami. He has made there according to the old style. They just made the temple room, which is like one of the most amazing straw huts in the history. Something spectacular. Like an old-style temple. I like this type of construction. Anyhow, so, action. So this is basically what our school is all about. That our Guru Deva, from Bharatavarsha he came, and he started training Brahmins worldwide. And today this lecture is for you to become a Brahmin and for understanding this. So you can represent it. And this is also a part of the understanding, because we are all fulfilled within the truth, the law and love of God. That is what this circle represents. The love, the truth, and the laws of God. So, if we want to become real Brahmins, we have to embrace this principle. And one of such Brahmins, they can do wonderful things. Wonderful things. Because you are wonderful people. I know that. And I don't say that to flatter you. Not at all. Actually, I have no business of flattering anybody. But when I see the devotees, I start having strong feelings. I mean, here, Jailalita is qualified, and she wants to do so many wonderful things. Through the body, she can lead them to the soul. And look, I still remember her, just a teeny little girl coming to the temple. Now she's all qualified and so much love and strength. Vasudeva, my goodness. What a important seva he has in Göteborg. All our Swedish yatra depends on him. But Krishna is very kind, and he sent special help from Peru, special help from Holland. I mean, Krishna is grabbing everywhere. Come on, let's send him somebody to help. And so, because our Brahma Sanghita exported to Bulgaria, and now expanded into Gopinath. What a lila, no? Huh? So each one of you has the weight. That's what it means to be a Brahmin. That all the weight is on your shoulders. But don't forget, that's what the Vaishnava Brahmin is. It's not an ordinary thing. You have to go and do anything and everything. And don't complain. If you have not been successful yet, you have not worked hard enough. If you are not loved enough, it's you have not won the people's heart enough. If you have not been given any special privilege, it's because you have not deserved that yet. I mean, look at Prabhupada. He was a businessman and he was a disciple and participant in Gaudiya Math. But only after 69 he started having some success. All those years he struggled. He had a business, he had a house in Calcutta. He was kind of okay, no? As a matter of fact, he had 2 houses. And in the second house, Srila Sridhar Maharaj opened the Chaitanya Saraswat Math in Calcutta. Can you imagine? That's where the first meetings took place with Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Very amazing. The amazing stories of Srila Prabhupada in this world and Srila Sridhar Maharaj. So these are the original teachers of the Brahminical culture. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that the man with 69 years, he starts to go to the Western world to train Brahmins worldwide, and today they have schools of Brahminical culture, they have lectures everywhere, and they have young and old all chanting japa, all doing so many things? Can you imagine that? By the way, what are you looking for? Are you looking for the truth? Are you looking to be a Brahmin? Because if you are not looking for being a Brahmin, if you're not looking for serving the truth, the law and love, then this is all meaningless to you. If they are not above your head, no, then if they're not above your head, then your life will not be Satyam, Shivam, and Sundaram. You want to be a real Brahmin? You want your life to be truthful, auspicious, and beautiful? Then put all these things above your head and guide yourself by it. Then you can be a truthful representative of your Guru. A truthful representative of your Guru, you cannot tell what's right and wrong. But when you're surrendered at the feet of your Guru, it will be revealed to you in your heart what's right and wrong. Because don't forget that the representation of Brahminical culture is the representation of Guru Tattva and Sri Paramatma. That's why we can say this is a universal religion, because it is free. And you see the history of India. The history of India has been Brahminical schools. You go to the Brahmin school, then you get out of the Brahmin school, you are the one to open the next school. There's no institution, there's no larger control function. Of course, we do have the principle of what we call Guru Sadhu, Guru Shastra Sadhu, Shastragu, and Sadhu. That checkup is there. And don't forget the law of karma. If you're doing something wrong, you're going to get smashed all the way from the top. Bad representation, take a kick. This is not permitted. You have to be a real representative of this culture, otherwise you will be eliminated. And elimination is a painful process. But if you become Brahmins in the true sense, oh yes, Gopala Tapani Upanishad, then you become a representative of your guru anywhere you go. For the rest of your life, you have that job with you. And all of you are doing that in one way or another and can do much more. But what we are going to do, we have to decide. Like for example, in our Berlin mission, now we are such an international gathering here, in our Berlin mission, we have to tie some screws. Our publication department needs to be revived. Our distribution of Harikatha Ashram items has to be revived. We have to do many things. Like, by the way, I wanted to thank Radha Dasyam for making the Art of Sadhana and the book of Bhaktisiddhanta and supplying us with these books so the devotees can have them. Now, these two books are musts. They're so valuable. When Radha Dasyam started working on these books, I was very happy because, we have not published many books lately, But these two books really show the heart and soul of the movement of Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So they were very, very important. And I would say for somebody to understand the mission of Prabhupada, these two books are musts. So thank you, Radha Dasyam, for putting your energy in that. That was very much on his own inspiration, because to make a book nicely, it takes a lot of time. That translation and publication, correction, and even he's doing what you can call handicraft publication, because we have not printed them. But I think we can now launch them in book on demand. That can be the next one, where you can order smaller amounts. You can take instruction from Gora Hari or whoever knows that these books will be available on books of demand, because that makes them more solid and more easy to get like 5-10 copies, no? So we should... Nochmal gecheckt werden, ja. Aber man kann sie auch checken, man kann sie auch drucken und dann noch trotzdem nochmal checken. Zumindest das ist meine speedy Version. Und man kann sie auch auf Wikipedia, auf Bhaktipedia tun. Dann können sie gleich online auch noch korrigiert werden, wenn jemand denkt, da noch ein bisschen was gefeilt werden kann. So this is another thing. Now, I just producing literature. This is the Shastras. The Brahmins, they protect the Shastras. This should also be protect Shastras. And of course, sometimes they also write. They are writers. Brahmins, they write, because sometimes things have to be written. Even who I feel very disqualified for writing, especially I don't really have a language, a good dominion of a language, but sometimes I have to write something because there's something missing, and also, like Radha Dasyam says, they all have to be polished and improved and things like that. Halada is a very good example of a Brahmin, because he published the Bhagavad Gita in poetry. He made that work. So, to a certain degree, we are already doing these things, It's not, of course, we are doing these things because now we are the teachers of the Brahmin school. We are the teachers here right now sitting, and a few ones here, the new learners. That's nice, no? And we really want to now. That's why Brahmins, they're so pure. They don't waste money on themselves. They're living simple life generally. Unless they're called Pundarika Vidyanidhi. That's a little exception there. But in generally, Brahmins are very austere. They live very simple. and they live a pure lifestyle. They don't break the four regulative principles, and that makes them very strong. And that gives them the power of discrimination. The power of discrimination, that is, how can you be without the boss? Because by the grace of Krishna you get the power of discrimination. Without that power, you're a zombie. So this is also very important in the Brahminical life, the power of discrimination. So in order to discriminate, you have to have a certain amount of knowledge. So Brahmins have to be trained in the sadhana. So Brahmins are trained on the sadhana. They have a good sadhana, and they study Shastra. Some of them also know some yoga practices. Yoga is also part of their activities, especially some of them to help others. Basically, in Brahmana, he's always looking to help others. You see, Sadhananda, this is a overview. What does it really mean to be a Brahmana? Then, of course, we have another one very important thing which is still forgotten here. The Brahmana, he's the inspiration in puja. He looks always that the deities are nicely worshipped. So the puja, this is pujari. No, is somebody who does the puja of the worship of the Lord. So therefore, when you take second initiation, you can take training and you go in the altar and you worship Krishna personally, meaning you enter into your third birth when you worship the Lord in his transcendental body in the altar. This is like the third birth. Second birth is when you take initiation, and third birth is when you start having a personal relationship with Krishna, of actually worshipping him. So a real Brahmana, he's also another thing we can see. A real Brahmana, he's always happy. Because if you're not happy, how are you going to spread happiness? If you're like a stone rock face, always looking like you're really an unhappy guy, nobody will believe that you are having a very happy life for others to offer. So always happy. That is also, and he's very compassionate. A real Brahmin is completely compassionate. And another thing, there's so many little hints and rules and regulations which come about for spiritual life, but one of them is he does not bother others. Even with the philosophy, he doesn't preach to those who don't want to hear anything, So he's compassionate, but at the same time, he's very reserved, and he's not sectarian. A real Brahmin is not sectarian. He has respect for others. So this is, a real Brahmin is a gift for the world. You know what Prabhupada did and say of creating these Brahminical culture? Prabhupada gave to the world the greatest gift. You have to understand that one Brahmin is the greatest gift. And Prabhupada made schools of Brahmin. And so if you become a Brahmin, you are one of the gifts of Prabhupada to this world. This is, and we always worried about our parents. No, today is a family day in Christian countries, very Christmas. So what is this? That Christmas means, or let's say, a real service to society and to your family is when you become a good devotee of the Lord. There's one shloka in Bhagavatam, I can't remember the Sanskrit right now. Devarshi bhutapma ninang pitinam na kinkaro nayam remi charayan. This means when you surrender to Krishna, you have done the best service to your parents, to the demigods, to Prithvi, to the Mother Earth. You are the best servant, and you are the welfare, the benefactor of all other people. So, wow. What a beauty, no? So, by surrendering to Krishna, by becoming a real Brahmin, you become the best and most valuable welfare worker. But please, for that, don't forget the Sankirtan Seva. That makes us physically, practically, those servants. Make sure, today, check it out after class. What is in your bag? If you have no CDs, no books, no invitation cards in your bag, that means you're still in total Maya. If you're not prepared to disseminate what you have gotten, a Brahmana is always charitable. He's always compassionate. So therefore, he's always ready. And that means it's a work. Invitation cards, books, CDs, whatever we have, prasadam, should always have these in your pockets. And when I get big pockets, so you can always have in your bag. If you leave the temple without these things, you're in Maya. Tell me whatever you want. I don't care. If you don't have anything with you to spread the glory of Krishna, you're in Maya. I don't know what the hell you're thinking about. You're not thinking about the people you're meeting. You have no respect for the people you're meeting. If you have respect for the people, you're compassionate for those who have never met your guru, never met Krishna, you should cry. Oh, you never met Krishna, you never heard about Prabhupada? Oh, you poor fellow. Please, 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 come quickly. I will show you who's Srila Prabhupada. That is the way a Brahmana has to feel. If you don't feel like that, you have no compassion. What, you never heard about Prabhupada? Oh, it doesn't matter. You can check him out on the internet. Huh? No. It cannot be like that. You have to feel strong compassion and strong commitment and strong responsibility to give to others. Because don't forget, the others are all the people with the blackberry. That's what the people are in the world, no? You just ask them, do you have a cell phone? You have a BlackBerry? Oh, sorry for you. Come, take this Bhagavad Gita. This can free you from your slavery. So we'll free him. Because it's too ugly. Otherwise you may think a Brahmin has still a BlackBerry. A Brahmin does not. A Brahmin is freed from that. He only listens to the divine calls. He doesn't listen to the mundane demands of the mind, the disturbances. No way. He's always ready to serve the Supreme Lord. So, most thankful to all of you to listen to this morning class. It's already 9:30. It gone a little further than I thought. Well, we started at 8. So, be Brahmins. Be Brahmins. Commit yourself. Be Brahmins for the rest of your life. Be independent, but at the same time be submissive to the truth. How can you be independent and submissive at the same time? Let's get that one. How can you be independent and submissive at the same time? How is that possible? This is only possible if you're submissive to the truth. If you're submissive to the truth, that gives you independence. If you're submissive to a prostitute, well, then you have to hope to be lucky that she's called Chintamani. Because that's what Bilva Mangala was. He was submissive to a prostitute. And after so many difficulties to meet her in the day of the storm, then the prostitute said, God, are you dedicated to sense gratification? If you would be as dedicated to Krishna as you are to me and enjoying me, you would already be a pure devotee. When he heard that from the prostitute, it was like a big cold water over his head. He said, wow, yes, I have been a slave of my senses and not submissive to the truth. And so he decided to become a devotee, as the story goes, Bilva Mangala. So submissive to the truth makes you independent. Submissive to illusion makes you a dependent, not independent. Just like drug people, no? They're submissive, they follow their desire for sense gratification or whatever, and then they become dependent, they become addicts. So we want to create very independent, Brahminical thinking people. Otherwise this movement is not going to make it. It's not going to very far. Of course, this movement is abstract. You are the movement. Each and every one of you is the movement. And if you ask me, I want you to become a main flag carrier of the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's what I want you to do. And if you give orders to others, fine. You can give orders to others, but those orders which you give to others, they must be in accordance of the Brahminical principles. If I give orders to you in this way, then my words are not my words, but they're the words coming down from Parampara, from Paramatma. So if you are doing things Lord Krishna wants you to do, well, you're very, very fortunate. So really, I am completely convinced that you will take this up, because there's nothing nicer than that. What is better than being independent and doing what you have to do, inspired and protected by Krishna? There is no higher and no more beautiful position. But don't expect it to be an easy position. No, there has to be austerity. You have to depend, no? The only thing in life which makes you successful is this. The only thing which will free you from slavery is to become surrendered to the truth. And never be proud of it. Never be proud. Never think, oh, now I'm so great. I'm a Brahmin. Now the other people should pay homage to me and give me money or something like this. No. If somebody gives you money, immediately you think, oh, Krishna is trusting me. He wants me to do some service for him. So he's sending me some money to do something for him. Right? So this is basically it. Any questions? Yes.
You said in between that a Brahmin never bothers anyone, even not with the scriptures or something. But what if he sees something, that something is going wrong, if someone is not behaving right or making or running in a direction and not seeing something, how
Then if he's a good expert teacher, then he somehow or other can convince that person of what's wrong for him, and he's not bothering somebody, he's saving somebody. But if somebody is becoming very angry and giving big trouble and like that, and he feels disturbed, then what can be done? the truth is not enough to just announce it. The truth is only then enough when it was understood and accepted. A teacher who stands in front of his students and every day he makes nice talks and the students can never pass one single exam, he is considered a very bad teacher. You have to be able to convince, no? That is the most important aspect. Any other questions? Rather not. Paramatma, please.
Is the idea of this brahminical culture to prepare for Varnashram Dharma?
It's higher than that. The real Brahmins, the real Vaishnava Brahmins, they're almost beyond the Varna Ashrama Dharma, but naturally and simultaneously, of course, something will come out, Varna Ashrama, I mean here and there. You know, creating Varna Ashrama Dharma is something, it's like, it sounds like very organized, but you know, in reality, we're just trying to make our temples work. We're just trying to make our basic necessities. It's a little bit high to say we want to create Varnashram Dharma. But at the same time, if one person becomes a pure devotee, it fulfills more the purpose than the whole Varnashram Dharma. But this is like, okay, I say a Brahmana can do anything, works hard, is a servant of everyone's happiness. This is all Varna Ashrama Dharma, but it's only one thing. For example, another person, he may think, okay, I'm not a Brahmin yet, but I want to help the Brahmins. I'm just a Vaishya. I cannot give classes. It's too much for me. If somebody says that to me, and he's my disciple, I become upset. You don't want to be a Brahmin? You don't want to be a preacher? What is this, you nonsense? Have you not understand anything of this wonderful process? Have you not understood what Prabhupada came to give us? What Prabhupada wanted us to become? You think you don't want to or you cannot? This is very, very unhappy news. But then he says, yeah, but the thing is, I want to, but I have no time, but I can give every week a great donation from my good working business so that a better Brahmin than me can use this for charity or something, you know. And we say, okay, it's better that than nothing, you know, but really, you know, my view is I want to make everybody a real leader. A real leader. That's my proposal. And I know that Krishna consciousness will only be successful in as much as I can convince you to become a real leader. Real leader on every level. A spiritual master. And that's more important than Varna Ashrama, but Varna Ashrama is also part of it. If I tell you, I want you to become a real farmer, or something like that, no? This is not... I mean, it's also good, you know, we are also farming. We do these things simultaneously, but we really have a concern, a much higher concern than that.
I have a question. Is actually the Brahminical knowledge something that you have to abandon in one point? Because actually Krishna...
Huh?
Is the Brahminical knowledge something that you have to abandon in some point, to go over it, to move over somehow? Because actually Krishna advises abandon it.
No, what you abandon is your attachment to the formality. You're abandoning the concern, the worldly concern, and you embracing only Krishna's concern. We are living in and for Krishna's concern. That is our real liberation, our real benefit.
Because to me it sounds really like a religious thing, because the Brahminical knowledge and so much of the thing, for example, one who doesn't observe from Ekadashi is considered as lower than the dog eater or something like this.
Yeah, there's some scripture. There's some scriptures called they're the Karma Kanda scriptures, and they emphasize certain things. What will happen when you do this? What will happen if you don't do this? Such scriptures exist. They are also encouraging. But you see, those who are serious devotees, they don't talk about that. They just follow Ekadasi. They don't read. They don't need to make a big fuss about it. But those who never made Ekadasi, they read this book. If you don't do Ekadasi, then you're wow. Then they start thinking maybe I should figure out what is Ekadasi, right? Because most people they don't even know what it is. So don't complain about anything. It's all for the good. But if we become proud, then we have to go beyond that. Otherwise, it's becoming an obstacle. Okay. So, Merry Christmas in Krishna consciousness. I'm very happy you all come here, and we'll have many things today. Yeah, we should we should do a little Harinam. I think we should do that more or less after breakfast. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Huh? Let's go. Where? Brandenburger Tor? Where do some Weihnachtsmarkt? Where are the most people?
Friedrichstraße, Brandenburger Tor. In Gendarmenmarkt is a very nice market, but maybe difficult to come inside.
For chanting?
Yeah, because they have guards.
They don't let you go and sing inside?
And it's very full and there is not so much space.
No, that's a good point. We need a place where there's many people and there's space also.
Friedrichstraße.
Huh?
Friedrichstraße, more cultured people.
Where's that Friedrichstraße? Bahnhof Friedrichstraße.
Nicht in Brandenburger Tor.
Nicht unter den Linden.
Doch. Friedrichstraße unter den Linden, Brandenburger Tor. Das ist das Beste.
Okay. So let's take breakfast and off we go.